Hello students, we'll start with the next part of unit 5, that is segment table, unit 4. Now if the video is not that much visible, you can directly refer the notes which are uploaded on Google Classroom. So segment table, in last video we saw what is segment. Now today we'll see what is segment table. Let's revise once. What is segment? Dividing the display file into number of subparts is called as segment, and each segment represents a small component of the overall image, right? Now what is segment table? Here you can see the image, that is the here we can say that the information, it's already in the information must be associated with each segment and how this information might be organized. Each segment its own unique name so that we can specify it. Like for example, here an image is given of, we can say, a plane and a sun. So here the moving object is plane and the stable object is constant is sun. So for transformation, that is, we have to change the position of the plane. What we'll do, we have to consider different segment, right? Now plane will take one segment and sun will be the other subpart, that is other segment. So if we want to change the position of the plane, what we'll do, we will make changes in the segment or in the part of plane only. So all these things are to be properly set into a table, and for this each object should be given a unique name to specify what is to be changed and what is to be kept constant. As we have seen earlier, the two attributes of the segment, main attributes, are visibility and image transformation, right? Visibility states it should be either in on state or off state depending on the visibility status. Yes, now we'll start. Now we know that for each segment we have to set attributes, right? That is visibility and image transformation. But to decide which segment should be visible and which should not be visible, we need one more attribute, which is called as segment name or unique name. A segment net attribute will uniquely identify a particular segment. So we must give each segment a unique name, right? Now when we want to change the visibility of a segment, there must be some way by which we can change the visibility of that segment. What is that way? When we are considering a particular segment of display file, we must know which command of display file belongs to that particular segment. Now this can be determined by knowing whether the display file command for that segment begins, right, from where it begins, and how many commands are there for that segment. So next thing is, we need two more attributes now. That is, if we want to know the number of commands required, we need the segment start and segment size. Now what will be segment start? Yes, segment start will be obviously the starting address, we can say, and segment size will be the total number of commands required, right? So for this we need to organize this information, which we can interpret the corresponding display file commands. To maintain this information, actually we are forming a table which is called as segment table. Now here you can see in the image, like this, for example, this is your image, that is a bat and a ball. Now here you have two objects, that is ball, bat. For display file, obviously bat is considered as one object and ball is considered as other object. Similarly, each subpart will have its own, like this segment table for display file, segment table for bat, and then segment table for second one will be for ball. Okay. Now we will use array to hold the attributes of a segment. Similarly, we can use numbers for the segment name, we can say. Like if we are using numbers for segment name, then it will be very easy to modify the attribute of the segment. Like if we want to set the visibility attribute of segment, suppose segment, here like we have given the segment numbers 0 1 2 3 4. And now suppose uh, we want to modify the attribute, suppose attribute of name 2, then we can say that visibility in bracket segment name equals to on or off, right? Visibility is given by status, that is on or off. Here segment name will actually act as index in attribute array. Normally when we are displaying pictures, we are storing the commands in display file, right? Then these commands are interpreted by display file interpreter and converted into some action. We can see this by using this block diagram. The actions will be nothing but pictures on display. Now by using segment table, this procedure gets changed slightly. Now what is this procedure? New procedure, that is display file. Display file, this is segment table. Display file and segment table together are given as input to display file interpreter, and which is finally displayed. To the display file is having actually commands of the scene which we want to display, but here display file interpreter interprets the command of display file in, we can say that, consultation with the segment table. Now if the uh, visibility attributes of now if the visibility attribute of a specific segment is on, then only the display file interpreter interprets the command of that segment, right? If the segment status is on, then only it is required for visibility, and if it is required, then only what will do, then only display file interpreter interprets the command of that segment. The location of these commands will be calculated, and then the display file interpreter, we can say, by using segment start and segment size attributes, right, it will interpret. But if the visibility is off, but if the visibility is off, visibility is the last attribute we can see here. If the visibility is off, then the command of that segment will not get interpreted, because there is no need to interpret, as we are not supposed to display it. So once we'll see all the contents of segment table: segment number, or we can say the unique number, unique name; segment start, starting address; segment size, total number of commands required, this is the starting command; total starting command address, total number of segments required or commands required, that is scaling factors for x, y, this is required for basically transformation; then color, color of the object; and visibility. Visibility is always defined by status on or off. If we want to show it, then it's on; if we don't want to show it, then it's the status is off. Okay, in next video we'll see the operations which we can perform on this segment table.